We got lots of Tesla stock news today, and we'll start with good news from India. India is working on a new electric vehicle policy that would slash import taxes for automakers that commit to some local manufacturing following a proposal by Tesla, which is considering entering the domestic market, people with direct knowledge said. The policy being considered could allow automakers to import fully built EVs into India at a reduced tax as low as 15% compared to the current 100% that applies to cars, which cost about $40,000, and 70% for the rest, said two of the sources, including a senior Indian government official. So perhaps even before Tesla finishes building a factory in India, maybe it could already start importing vehicles into India, which would be quite bullish. So this is a big change, and it's a big deal. The lower import taxes could help Tesla sell its full range of models in India, and not just the new car it wants to make locally, said a third source, which would probably be just the next generation vehicle. So this would allow Tesla to import Model 3s, Model Ys, and Xs and Ss. However, then asked about the move, the finance minister told reporters, "There is no proposal in front of me to reduce import duties on electric vehicles." Of course, he would have to say it because this is a leak. And it seems that the market is taking this seriously. For example, the stock of one of the local automakers fell about 3%. NHTSA will soon announce the results of its 2-year investigation into Tesla Autopilot, the agency's acting head said. But NHTSA hints at forcing changes on driver monitoring. It's really important that drivers pay attention. It's also really important that driver monitoring systems take into account that humans overtrust technology. There's a chance that Tesla supposedly may have a huge recall, but by the time it will be announced, probably Tesla will have a fix. So I wouldn't really call that a recall. Hopefully they don't actually call it a recall, but if they do, this could be a Tesla stock buying opportunity if Tesla stock drops because of that. Here's the latest production update from Troy, and he is estimating that production will be down by 11% this quarter versus Q2. But Troy is still estimating that Tesla will exceed its 1.8 million production target for the year. Troy also just lowered his delivery estimate for this quarter by 10,000 vehicles. Here's the latest Model Y production data from Giga Texas. Troy also made this blue line, which is where we would have expected to see Giga Texas Model Y production. But because of the production upgrades of the production lines, it is down a little bit, as you can see right here.
Probably a slight decrease in production in Q3 for sort of global factory upgrades.
And now we are seeing these upgrades being done. Sawyer has a pretty good idea. Not enough people know that Tesla sells the top 4 most American-made cars. Maybe something worth adding to the website. If you work at Tesla, maybe let the management know. And if you use Twitter, maybe tag Elon on that tweet just by simply entering Elon Musk's handle. And the Cybertruck will likely be the #1 most American-made truck. Ford F-150 is only number 8 on that list. Tesla has created over 60,000 American jobs building EVs in the US. Tesla is also the only mass-scale automaker where 100% of its auto sales in the US are from cars assembled domestically. GM is only at 54%. That's interesting. However, I would like to point out that this will change slightly once Giga Mexico goes up, because a lot of these cars will be imported from Mexico to the US. So for the time being, yeah, we can say so. But once Tesla ramps up, that will change. Let's just keep that in mind. We got some good Tesla stock news here. In South Korea, it was just confirmed that Shanghai-made Model Ys will be eligible for this roughly 4,000 USD subsidy from the government. Tesla is slaughtering the competition in Spain. With only 2 models, Tesla sells more cars than the sum of all of its competition together among the top 20. Remember this? Model Y just broke the best-selling car record in Norway, held since 1969 by the Beetle. This was back in December of last year. At the end of the year, this only happened. But now Tesla is saying that they did it again, except it's only August. Tesla sales in Norway are really picking up. Look at this. Tesla is right here. Look at that steep growth. Looks like the delivery wave is starting early. But I do want to say that I am not exactly pleased that Volkswagen is ahead of Tesla currently this quarter in Norway, but I think that is going to change closer to the end of the quarter. There is a bold prediction from the limiting factor between now and 2027. Tesla will likely 5x, going from 2 million vehicles a year to 10 million vehicles a year. They are well positioned for this S-curve, he says. And of course, grid storage will probably 10x, requiring 5 more megapack factories. After 2027, 50% compounded annual growth will be harder. In my base case, Tesla does under 10 million vehicles in 2027. Maybe later I will share exactly how many I think Tesla will deliver. But if we just do 50% growth per year from now until 2027, we get this many for 24, 25, 26, 27. 9 million vehicles. So to say it will be 10 million, that's pretty bullish. Tesla China has rolled out a price cut for its Model 3 power trunk upgrade. It is down from $546 to $408. Currently in Canada, Model Y performance inventory vehicles have pretty significant discounts of about $4,500. I think these are Canadian dollars. Even though Troy reduces delivery estimates, James remains pretty bullish at 470,000 deliveries for this quarter. I have seen quite a few complaints before that it is difficult to repair a Tesla vehicle, especially if you try to do it yourself. But in this new letter, Tesla say they agree that customers should have access to safe and proper repairs throughout a vehicle's life cycle. Tesla already provides extensive information for independent and do-it-yourself repairers. Here's the full letter. I think the issue often is just not being able to have the parts, and one of my friends actually had to do a Tesla repair, actually 2 of them, and in both cases it took a lot longer than expected, mostly because it took so long to get the parts. At least that's what Tesla told them. I'm pretty sure this is something that Tesla is working carefully on, but it will take some time to make this experience better. Eventually, they'll get it right, but it will take some time. I like promotions like this one. Tesla is sending out email invites for a free Plaid test track experience at their Fremont factory. You will have the opportunity to ride along in the Model S Plaid on a test track, meet local Tesla owners, and attend a do-it-yourself service workshop. If your Tesla gets into a crash, you can ask Tesla to provide you a detailed report. Here's an example of how it all looks. It also shows if you are accelerating or not, and then it shows if you are braking, how much you are braking as well, and it shows the speed of the vehicle, and it's all broken down to the exact second. It also shows if the auto steer was engaged and if your hands were detected on the steering wheel. So I say these are pretty useful, especially if you are not at fault and you want to prove you didn't do anything wrong. Someone says, oh, you were not paying attention. Well, here the data says I had my hands on the wheel and this is the speed that I was going at. And I started braking before the crash. This is a photo of a Cybertruck seat and it looks pretty high up. If you drop something, I think you would be able to easily put your hand through that and get your keys back if you drop your keys, for example. Happened to me a few times before, where I dropped something in between the seat and the center console and then I can't really reach it easily. But with this, I just get out of the car and I put my hand through this. Seems pretty easy, or maybe I don't even need to really get out of the car and just reach down from the front. I can probably reach there. And here's that same picture but zoomed out. See if you can spot anything else that's interesting. Here are Cybertruck inflation adjusted unveil prices. So from 47,500 to 83,000, the mid model would be about $60,000. But Sawyer has a pretty good point here. On one hand, Elon said final Cybertruck prices would be higher than the announced ones, but Tesla's prices have fallen quite a bit since then, and current Model Y and Model 3 prices aren't in line with inflation increases. So perhaps eventually, and by eventually I mean a few years from now, maybe Tesla will somehow manage to get close to these original unveil prices. If Tesla can actually do it, that would be a very impressive achievement. Both Farzad and Sawyer think that the dual motor will be $65,000 roughly, and that the tri-motor will be about $80,000. I think the tri-motor will certainly be under $80,000 to qualify for the $7,500 EV tax credit. If somehow it ends up being above it, I think that will be only temporary, and quickly the price will come down to below $80,000. All Model 3 vehicle delivery dates are missing on the US webpage except for the performance variant, and the performance one shows November. So that created this whole conversation about the refreshed Model 3, but I just checked and all of the delivery dates are showing up for every single model. They are between August and September, literally for every single trim. So maybe that was a bug, or perhaps more likely someone was working on the website a little bit, maybe was making some updates, preparing for the refresh, made a few adjustments, forgot something, or all of this was spotted while the website was being updated. Usually bugs don't just happen out of nowhere. Usually they happen after you make a few changes to your website. Not always, but that's often the case. So this could mean absolutely nothing, or it could be one more thing that is indicating the refresh Model 3 coming soon. FSD beta version 11.4.7 is now rolling out to some regular customers as well. Check your Tesla, maybe you will have this update now. James just tried full self-driving beta for the first time, and while overall he liked it, there were some issues. For example, it slowed down at a green light and caused the driver behind him to honk and brake. And yeah, while this exactly, I don't think it happened to me specifically. I have been honked at while on full self-driving, I think, but it never stopped suddenly while the car was behind me. But it did happen a few times where there was no car behind me and the car just slowed down very quickly. And I really don't like these moments, because if there was a car behind me, that could be not great exactly. James says this is not ready for the average driver. It still feels like it has a very long way to go. But James did not try full self-driving before, so he does not know how bad or okay it was earlier. Comparing it now to what it was before, yeah, there are some major improvements when I take it for a ride now. Tesla adds standalone screens as superchargers, but only in this one island. This is due to the new local regulations, and this is a strong hint that the superchargers network will be open to other EVs in that area as well. It doesn't look like there will be a screen next to each supercharger, because on the screen you can actually choose which stall number you are going to use. So that's a clever way to save some money. I like this post on LinkedIn from Tesla. Yesterday, we launched our first virtual power plants in Texas. Powerwall customers can now provide the same grid support services as any power plant. Someone is back on X/Twitter. Elon said, next level. This will surely help X get more users on the platform. I think Kevin has a point here about the Cybertruck. There is zero need to underprice the Tesla Cybertruck. $50,000 would substantially underprice the Cybertruck versus the demand it will have. In my opinion, he says, my target is $69,000 to $75,000. Plenty will sell as supply rams in the future, though. A lower price Cybertruck makes sense, not now. I think they can probably safely assume that whatever the price of the Cybertruck will be in the beginning, eventually it will come down substantially. These big automakers could face some serious losses if they don't come to an agreement with the union. If you thought that they are already struggling with the EV transition, well, this only makes it quite a bit worse for them. We got another picture of Cybertruck's frunk. Looks like the frunk is actually maybe a little bit bigger than previously thought, but it is filled with a lot of these other things. This could be good news for Tesla stock investors, because if X does well, then Elon will not sell Tesla stock anymore to fund X. It seems like Twitter or X will be able to offer low transaction costs and basically to have a payment system, but the transaction costs could be lower than the transaction costs of credit cards. If Elon Musk can somehow pull this off, there will be so many businesses using the payment platform. Anyone who sells anything online would want to process payments through X then. If you, let's say, save 0.5% or 1% on credit card fees, that's a big deal. The mainstream media is reporting on Tesla Cybertruck sightings, which gives free advertising to Tesla. This will accelerate once there will be a lot of Cybertrucks on the roads, except instead of mainstream media talking about it, it will be everyone on social media. Oh, I saw a Cybertruck here. Oh yeah, I saw this one here too. Lots of free advertising is coming. Elon postponed the full self-driving live stream again. He is now saying it will be tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific time. Ford is losing a lot of money from its CVs, and it's discounting the Ford Mach-E by another $3,000 in August. But these supposedly temporary discounts could become eventually permanent discounts. Good for consumers, but for Ford, because it's already losing so much money, yeah, it just hurts more. And YouTube says you should watch this video next, but if you haven't finished watching this Elon Musk interview, watch this one first. My name is Matt Posius. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.